Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by the Hall of Famer, big game James Worthy, Chiney Ogwumike, all-star for the LA Sparks. Allie Clifton, Brez, our insider, is getting some sound tonight from the locker room. We'll get to him shortly. The Lakers' win streak is snapped at 7 games. The shorthanded champs, Toronto Raptors, came into town and took it to the Lakers, beating them for the 10th straight time. They actually did to the Lakers what the Lakers have been doing to everyone else during this 7-game win streak. Dominated the second half, dominated the paint in the fourth quarter. In big game James, they hit big shots when it counted.
Well, they're the defending champions. I mean, and without 2 of their star players, these other guys played a lot last year, and they know how to play. So, I mean, you know, I think subconsciously sometime when one player is going to be out, and then 2, sometimes subconsciously your mind and body just has a letdown. And there was a letdown tonight. You know, from the start, these guys are scrappy. Toronto, you know, they have length. They defend. And once you get into a game like that where, you know, they're playing harder than you, it's hard to snap out of that. You can't turn the switch on. So tough loss tonight. I mean, the numbers are what they are. I'm sure we'll get into that. But, yeah, you got to take care of business. And Toronto came in here and kind of took their hearts.
Yeah.
Kind of took their hearts. They knew they weren't fight.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you lose Kawhi Leonard, who some people say is probably the most dominant player when he's healthy or not load managing. And what you get, you still have this championship hangover in the way that they approach each and every game, the pride they play with, and just the role players not being role players. We learned in the finals last year that those guys, that's just who they are. It's not them overachieving. You see Pascal get 40 points in the first game of game 1. But no, now he's doing it. And we're like, oh, like this is actually who Pascal is. Yes, he shot the ball 25 times, but every time they needed him to shoot it. But for the Lakers, I think it's just tough because you saw a difference in the energy and the intensity of the Raptors at half. And they just turned it up defensively. If you just saw their defensive stances and how hard they were competing. And I think it comes back to, you look at some of these players, they're having opportunities to play. Chris Boucher is a wonderful story about a guy who's been patient, and then his length is actually perfect to combat an Anthony Davis if he's flexing. I know AD has muscles on him, but like there's so many role players, and that's been a farm system that has amounted in a championship, and they milk talent from the beginning, and they are able to overachieve when they need it the most. But more importantly, they compete like they're champions, and they are the reigning champs.
I would have lost my life savings tonight if I would have had to bet on who scored more between LeBron James and Chris Boucher.
Oh, well, as you mentioned, a guy who is seizing the opportunity, you talked about it too when you've got Kyle Lowry out, you've got Serge Ibaka out. Chris Boucher, guys, over the last handful of games was averaging 3 minutes a night. So, what?
Oregon Duck.
Oregon Duck, yeah. I mean, so he has the energy.
3 minutes a night?
3 minutes a night. I mean, the last game, because of the injuries, he put up 13 plus minutes, but he's got the energy, and you talked about that changing at the half, and Toronto was able to control that. A statistic that we were just talking about, and Bill and Stu talked about, 32-8 in fast break points. Their ability to get out in transition and really just dictate what was going to happen made a difference.
Allie, were you surprised when I looked at the points in the paint? It was 54-48 Toronto. Most of those came in the second half.
Well, yeah, and it's the one thing that, as you mentioned, the Lakers have been able to do so well, and it's made up for their lack of three-point shooting. And tonight, when the shots weren't falling, because they did have the looks down the stretch, they didn't hit them. And then you're being outscored down low at your own game, makes it tough.
Yeah. You know, we talked in the pregame show about Siakam. Last year, he's the most improved player. He has that amazing NBA Finals. Kawhi Leonard leaves. Danny Green leaves. He gets this opportunity, and he's on a way to being his all-star. Freddie VanVleet, they combined for 47 points. Freddie had 23, 10, and 7 tonight.
Yeah, Fred, this is just who he is. And, you know, he's just a confident type of guy. When he's off the bounce and he's in isolation, he will take those shots. He's actually an underrated finisher at the rim as well. Like, he can knock down a spot-up shot, but look at how intense he is attacking the rim, and this is part of the fast break points. But look, isolation, reads, defense goes behind, makes you pay. Again, crossover does not care who's at the rim. You know, oftentimes they say what you're good at as a team, you sometimes need checks because other teams will do that same thing because you're not used to them doing what you do really well. But Fred VanVleet, like, this is who he is. He's he's a solid player.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher, we talked about his energy, and even Pascal Siakam. If you look at these guys, they're like G League All-Stars that are like seizing the moment right now. Pascal Siakam, G League Finals MVP, I believe, and helped the Raptors 905 win a championship in the G League. Chris Boucher, G League MVP. Yeah. I know this because I call the G League Showcase. I was gonna say the last like 4 or 5 years. I was gonna say, so I know all the benches in the league. Let me tell you this.
Are you dropping G League knowledge?
Hey, this is a perfect game to have me because I know all them G Leaguers. They're all the Raptors. But it's just really cool to see these guys because you talk about the guys that average 3 minutes a game. I know all of them in the league because that's all I was covering for a long time.
Talk about the inside stuff.
But but it's just really cool to see. I know it's a tough loss for the Lakers, but these guys, you can tell how much it meant for them to be out there.
Yeah, look, you're not going to disrespect us just because we lost Kawhi. I mean, we were part of the reason that Kawhi won. I mean, we put some icing on that cake too. I mean, you look at Hollis Davis, Jefferson, 10 points. Davis, 13 points. I mean, there's a lot of guys in double figures. So, it's not like these guys were just sitting around riding on Kawhi's coattail. I mean, they were playing their roles, and now that he's gone, someone always is going to step up. Someone's always waiting. There's always another star waiting because it has to happen. Someone has to step up. Siakam, and now they're even playing more as a cohesive unit. And not only that, I mean, they were pounding AD. Yeah. Blocking shots. They were pounding LeBron when he came into the paint. Like, we don't care.
It's like they don't know any better.
Yeah, this is the way we play. You know what I mean?
But it's also like they won a championship, and 2 days later, the storylines were no longer about the Toronto Raptors. So that was so short-lived. And so for them to be able to kind of have this ride through the league as the defending champs, they're not going to allow, because you think you are who you are and you've won 7 straight, you think you're going to punk us. No.
We got rings, too.
Let's get you out to Staples Center for the highlights. Defending champs come to town. Lakers look for their 8th 10-3 Lakers midway through the first quarter. LeBron to AD. Nice move. To dances around his defender. 12-5 Lakers. Action on both ends of the floor. Siakam in the paint with the spin move, but the Lakers answer off the quick inbound.
Yeah, Siakam relentless even though he didn't shoot the ball well in the beginning, but you cannot fall asleep on defense. Anthony Davis, everyone knows after LeBron crosses half court, he's looking for his guy.
Here's Davis again. LeBron drives, misses. Davis, offensive rebound. Muscles his way through 3 defenders for the layup. Appears to hold his shoulder a little bit, Allie, after the play, 24-15.
Fortunately, as strong as the move and the play and the putback looked, you got to pay attention to him wincing right there. As again, it's not the only time we've seen it this season, and of course, if you just watch the game, you see it later, so you got to keep your eye on it.
Raptors starting to come back. Siakam powers in the paint over Kuzma for the layup and the foul. Raptors now trail by 3 after the made free throw. Just over a minute left in the first. Quinn Cook checks up this left-handed runner, and big game James, the prayer is answered.
Boy, there was a leprechaun on the top of that backboard that pushed that one back down for Cook. We'll take it.
Toronto getting back into it. Caruso gets swatted by Bobby Boucher. Fred VanVleet in transition finds Boucher for the alley-oop. Raptors take the lead, 33-32. LeBron.
They're going to be better, especially with Kuzma getting some confidence as well.
How about the read by LeBron right there? The Kuz miss, LeBron to clean it up, 46-39. Just over 3 left. Bradley, Dwight, 8-point lead, 54-46. Moments later, same play. This time, Bradley, shuffle pass, Dwight, and 1. Lakers, 56-48. Just under 2. Davis with the steal off the inbound. Around the back, loses it, gathers it, sees LeBron, get to the key, kick to Quinn Cook. Got it! Lakers go on to lead 60-52 at the half.
So it makes AD so dangerous, not only his length, but his ability to handle the rock and, of course, facilitate. Don't forget, before he had that 12-inch growth spurt back in high school,
point guard.
He was point guard.
Point guard.
Felt like Lakers win at this point, didn't it? From Avery Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, outside, if that middle's open and you dive, most likely you're going to get an alley-oop, but you got to check up. You got to check up.
Freddie just chucking it from the cheap seats, tied up at 68. LeBron showing off his defensive skills. Ooh, great block right there, Chiney. Mistake to challenge
Yeah,
LeBron
that's
at the
not
rim.
fair. No shot is safe at the rim on this team.
More defense from the Lakers, Allen.
course, AD's averaging.
And that's just straight up athleticism, great footwork, and a great finish. These guys are not afraid.
Avery Bradley for his 4th assist. How about the left-handed finish and dunk?
The LOB, and I'm not talking football. I feel like we've got a new version of Lob City here, y'all, because every pick and roll can be a lob dunk.
I'm still impressed with that G League information we get.
Still blown away. LeBron gets swatted. Siakam, they go the other way. Davis converts the layup. Huge 4-point swing for the Lakers. Kuz, this is a big play. Allie, Frank Vogel with no challenge. The Raptors are going the other way. The 3-ball by Terrence Davis. But look at this, Allie, when the Lakers had a chance to cut it to 7. Kuz gets hit on the arm.
Foul. But here's the point. The swing came when you didn't get back in transition, and they nail a corner 3.
And plus, these referees, they know that 2 stars are missing. They see these young kids out here playing their butts off, and they see they're playing harder than the Lakers. They're not going to get the calls that they usually get.
Kuz for 3. Got it. Not over yet. May I have another? Yes. 6-point game. Here's the play, Chene. Chance to cut it to 1. Staples ready to erupt. But as Ali said, you don't get back on D, and look what happens.
Yeah, I was feeling it for Kyle Kuzma. That was a big miss because it turned into like a 5-point swing.
Putting you in the film room tomorrow, Al.
It's almost like the defense just